Why you couldn't survive without insects. Hello, and welcome. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wished that all the insects in the world could just disappear? No more mosquitoes buzzing around your ear, no more ants stealing food from your kitchen, and no more spiders hiding in the corners of your room. Sounds great, right? But imagine this. One morning, you wake up and all the insects really are gone. At first, life might seem easier. But very quickly, strange and serious problems begin to appear. Crops stop growing, birds and fish go hungry, and even your favorite foods disappear from the store. Suddenly, you realize that these tiny creatures do some of the biggest, most important jobs on our planet. Today, we're going to explore why life on Earth truly couldn't survive without insects, and how these small animals quietly keep our world running every single day. The incredible world of insects first. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. There are more insects on Earth than any other type of animal. Scientists believe there are about 10 quintillion insects alive right now. That's a number with 19 zeros. To help you understand how big this number is, imagine this. For every single person on Earth, there are about 1.4 billion insects. Insects have been living on our planet for about 400 million years. That means they were here long before humans existed. They've survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and many other disasters that wiped out other animals. This tells us something important. Insects are incredibly good at surviving and adapting to changes. You can find insects almost everywhere on Earth. They live in hot deserts, cold mountains, deep forests, and even in your backyard. Some insects can fly higher than Mount Everest. Others live deep underground. This amazing ability to live in so many different places is one reason why insects are so successful. Insects as nature's cleanup crew. Let me tell you a story that shows how important insects are. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful forest. The ground is clean and everything looks fresh and healthy. But what you don't see are millions of tiny workers making this possible. Many insects work like nature's cleanup crew. They eat dead plants and animals, breaking them down into smaller pieces. This process is called decomposition, and it's incredibly important for our planet. Think about what would happen if we didn't have these insect cleaners. Dead leaves, fallen trees, and animal bodies would just pile up everywhere. Our world would become a giant garbage dump. But thanks to insects like beetles, flies, and many others, dead materials get recycled back into the soil. This makes the soil rich and healthy so new plants can grow. Let me give you a specific example. In Australia, there's a type of beetle called the dung beetle. These beetles eat animal waste, which might sound gross to us, but it's incredibly helpful. Before these beetles were brought to Australia, cow waste would pile up in fields for years. This created problems for farmers and made the land unhealthy. Now, thanks to dung beetles, the waste disappears quickly and makes the soil better for growing grass. The amazing world of pollination now. Let's talk about one of the most important jobs that insects do: pollination. This might be a new word for you, so let me explain it simply. When you see a flower, you're looking at a plant's way of making babies. But plants can't move around to find partners like animals can. So they need help to move their pollen from one flower to another. This is where insects come in. Bees are probably the most famous pollinators. When a bee visits a flower to drink sweet nectar, Tiny pieces of pollen stick to the bee's fuzzy body. When the bee flies to the next flower, some of this pollen rubs off. This helps flowers make seeds, which grow into new plants. But here's the amazing part. Many of the foods we eat every day depend on insect pollination. Think about apples, oranges, strawberries, tomatoes, and even chocolate. Yes, chocolate. The cacao tree that gives us chocolate needs tiny flies called midges to pollinate its flowers. Let me share a story that shows how important this is. In some parts of China, people killed so many bees with pesticides that there weren't enough left to pollinate apple trees. Now, people have to climb up into the trees with small brushes and pollinate each flower by hand. This takes a very long time and costs a lot of money. It shows us what happens when we don't have enough insects to do this natural job. Scientists estimate that about 1/3 of everything we eat depends on insect pollination. Without insects, our meals would be very different and much less interesting. Insects as food for other animals' insects are also incredibly important because they feed so many other animals. Think of insects as one of nature's most important restaurants. Birds are big customers at this insect restaurant. A single bird family might eat thousands of insects every day to feed their babies. Imagine a mother bird flying back and forth, bringing caterpillars, flies, and other insects to her hungry chicks. Without insects, many bird species would have nothing to eat. Fish also depend heavily on insects. Have you ever seen fish jumping out of water to catch flying insects? Many fish species eat insects that fall into rivers and lakes. Insects that live in water, like dragonfly babies, are also important food for fish. Even bigger animals depend on insects indirectly. For example, many small mammals eat insects, and these mammals become food for larger predators. It's like a chain. Insects feed small animals feed bigger animals, and so on. Let me tell you about something interesting that happened in China in the 1950s. People decided that sparrows were eating too much grain, so they tried to kill all the sparrows. At first, this seemed like a good idea because there was more grain. But then something unexpected happened. Without sparrows to eat them, insects multiplied incredibly fast. These insects ate far more crops than the sparrows ever did. The result was a disaster that led to serious food shortages. This story teaches us an important lesson. Every animal, including insects, has an important role in nature. When we remove one part, it affects everything else. Insects that help farmers, many insects are actually farmers' best friends, even though not all farmers realize this. These helpful insects are called beneficial insects, and they do two main jobs. They eat harmful pests and they pollinate crops. Let me tell you about ladybugs. Most people think ladybugs are cute, but they're also incredible pest controllers. A single ladybug can eat up to 50 aphids in one day. Aphids are tiny insects that damage plants by sucking their juices. So ladybugs protect our crops by eating these harmful pests. Another example is the praying mantis. These insects look like they're praying, but they're actually expert hunters. They catch and eat many insects that would otherwise damage crops. One praying mantis can eat hundreds of harmful insects in its lifetime. There are also tiny wasps that most people never notice. These wasps don't sting humans, but they do something amazing for farmers. They lay their eggs inside harmful caterpillars and other pests. When the wasp babies grow up, they kill the pest from the inside. This natural pest control saves farmers billions of dollars every year. Some smart farmers now buy beneficial insects to release in their fields. Instead of using chemical pesticides, they use these helpful insects to control pests naturally. This method is better for the environment and often more effective than chemicals. Insects and medicine. Here's something that might really surprise you. Insects are helping doctors create new medicines. For thousands of years, people in different cultures have used insects as medicine. Modern scientists are now studying these traditional uses and discovering that many insects really do have healing properties. For example, honey has been used to treat wounds for centuries. Now we know that honey has special properties that kill bacteria and help wounds heal faster. Many hospitals use special medical honey to treat serious wounds. Bee venom, the poison that makes bee stings hurt, is being studied as a treatment for arthritis and other painful conditions. Some people even get bee sting therapy, where they let bees sting them on purpose to help with their pain. Maggots might sound disgusting, but they're actually incredible healers. Some hospitals use special sterile maggots to clean infected wounds. The maggots eat only the dead, infected tissue and leave healthy tissue alone. They also produce substances that kill bacteria. This treatment works better than many modern medicines for certain types of wounds. Scientists are also studying insects to create new antibiotics. Many insects have powerful substances in their bodies that protect them from diseases. By understanding how these substances work, scientists hope to create new medicines to help humans fight infections. The amazing chemistry of insects. Insects are like tiny chemical factories. They produce hundreds of different substances that have amazing properties. Understanding these chemicals is helping us create new materials and technologies. Spider silk is one of the best examples. Even though spiders aren't technically insects, they're close relatives, and their silk shows us what's possible in nature. Spider silk is stronger than steel but much more flexible. Scientists are trying to learn how to make artificial spider silk for bulletproof vests, parachutes, and even medical sutures. Some insects produce natural glues that work underwater. Others make substances that can kill bacteria or fungi. Many insects create their own sunscreen to protect themselves from harmful sun rays. By studying these natural chemicals, scientists are developing new products for humans. Fireflies produce light without heat through a chemical reaction. Scientists are studying this process to create more efficient lighting systems. This could help us save energy and reduce pollution. Insects as environmental indicators. Insects can tell us a lot about the health of our environment. They're like nature's warning system. When insect populations change, it often means something is happening to the environment. For example, if bees start disappearing from an area, it might mean there are too many pesticides in the environment. If water insects die, it could mean the water is polluted. Scientists use insects as indicators to monitor environmental health. Butterfly populations are especially good indicators. Different butterfly species need specific plants and environmental conditions to survive. When certain butterflies disappear from an area, it tells scientists that the environment is changing in ways that might affect other animals and plants too. This is why scientists around the world carefully count and study insect populations. They're not just interested in the insects themselves, but in what the insects can tell us about the health of our planet. The threats facing insects. Unfortunately, insects around the world are facing serious problems. Scientists have noticed that many insect species are becoming less common, and some are disappearing completely. This is very worrying because of how important insects are to our world. One of the biggest problems is habitat loss. When people build cities, roads, and farms, they often destroy the natural places where insects live. Imagine if someone destroyed your home and all the homes in your neighborhood. That's what's happening to insects in many parts of the world. Pesticides are another major problem. These chemicals are designed to kill harmful insects, but they often kill beneficial insects too. It's like using a medicine that cures your headache, but also makes you sick in other ways. Climate change is also affecting insects. As temperatures change and weather patterns shift, some insects can't adapt fast enough. The plants they depend on might bloom at different times, or the places they live might become too hot or too cold. Light pollution is a problem that many people don't think about. Insects use natural light from the moon and stars to navigate. But artificial lights from cities confuse them. Many insects get trapped flying around streetlights instead of finding food or mates. What we can do to help. The good news is that there are many things we can do to help insects. And helping insects helps our entire planet. In our gardens, we can plant flowers that insects love. Native plants are especially good because local insects have evolved to use them. Even a small garden or a few pots of flowers can provide food for bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects. We can also create insect hotels. These are simple structures made from natural materials like bamboo, wood, and stones. They provide places for beneficial insects to live and reproduce. You can buy insect hotels or make your own with your family. Reducing pesticide use is another important step. Instead of spraying chemicals when we see insects, we can try to understand which insects are helpful and which ones are harmful. Often, the beneficial insects will control the harmful ones naturally if we give them a chance. Supporting organic farming is also helpful. Organic farmers use fewer chemicals and often create better habitats for beneficial insects. When we buy organic food, we're supporting farming methods that are better for insects and the environment. We can also help by learning more about insects and teaching others. Many people are afraid of insects simply because they don't understand them. When we share knowledge about how important and interesting insects are, we can change people's attitudes. The future with insects. Looking toward the future, insects will likely become even more important to humans. Scientists are working on many exciting projects involving insects. Some researchers are developing insect farms to produce protein for human food. Insects are very efficient at converting plants into protein, and they require much less water and land than traditional livestock. In many parts of the world, people already eat insects as a regular part of their diet. Other scientists are working on using insects for waste management. Certain insects can eat organic waste and turn it into useful products like protein and fertilizer. This could help solve problems with garbage and create valuable resources at the same time. There's also exciting research into using insects for manufacturing. Scientists are studying how insects build things like honeycombs and spider webs, hoping to learn new ways to create materials and structures. Some researchers are even working on tiny robots inspired by insects. These robots could be used for search and rescue missions, environmental monitoring, or medical procedures. Why every insect matters. As we come to the end of our conversation, I want you to remember something important. Every single insect matters. Even the ones that seem small or unimportant play crucial roles in keeping our world healthy and balanced. The next time you see a bee visiting flowers in a garden, remember that it might be pollinating the plants that will become the fruit you'll eat for lunch. When you notice ants marching in a line, think about how they're aerating the soil and cleaning up organic matter. Even that spider in the corner of your room is catching flies and mosquitoes that might otherwise bother you. Insects have been on Earth for hundreds of millions of years, and they've survived countless changes and challenges. They've evolved incredible abilities and play irreplaceable roles in ecosystems around the world. They pollinate our food, clean up our environment, provide food for other animals, help create medicines, and inspire new technologies. But insects can't survive without our help. As humans, we have the power to create a world where insects can thrive alongside us. By making small changes in how we treat our environment, we can ensure that future generations will continue to benefit from the amazing work that insects do. I hope that after our conversation today, you'll look at insects with new eyes. Instead of seeing them as annoying pests, I hope you'll see them as the incredible, hard-working partners they truly are. They're not just sharing our planet with us, they're helping to keep it healthy and beautiful. Closing thoughts, thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of insects. I hope you've learned something new and interesting today. Remember, learning about nature is a lifelong adventure, and there's always more to discover. The next time you're outside, take a moment to watch the insects around you. You might see a butterfly dancing from flower to flower, or observe ants working together as a team. These simple moments can remind us of the incredible complexity and beauty of the natural world. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and most importantly, keep caring about the amazing creatures we share our planet with. Every small action we take to protect and understand insects makes a difference. Together, we can create a world where humans and insects continue to thrive side by side. Thank you for being such wonderful learners, and I encourage you to continue exploring the amazing world of nature around you.